And welcome back, everybody. The tension is growing at the Covedale Center for the Performing Arts. A classic thriller is playing there right now. It's called Wait Until Dark. And this morning, I am joined by the star of the show, Anna Hazard, and director Corey Daniele. Ladies, thanks for being here. Appreciate it so much.
Thanks for having us.
Just chatting during the break a little bit. I have a feel for the show, but I have never seen the show. For those who don't know anything about it, one of you set the scene for me. What is going on in Wait Until Dark?
Sure, it's set in the 40s,
Okay.
1944, in Greenwich Village.
Okay.
And so Anna's character, it's her home.
Yeah.
And she's kind of conned by a couple of folks, and her character's also blind.
Okay.
And so it's a show that's a little tricky to talk about because we don't want to give anything away too much.
Right, right. Well, because it leads, everybody talks about this show, theatrically speaking, it leads to one of your more climactic, sort of intense kind of moments in, I don't know, in all of theater, but it builds to a crescendo. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what is it like for you to play this character who is able to take something that some might see as a disability and use it as an advantage? Because that's sort of what this show is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so much fun. Susan is such an incredibly smart character, and it's really fun to see the ways that she's grown in the last year and a half and the ways that she thinks she has stalled.
Yeah.
She talks about having lost her sight in a car accident.
Okay.
So this is fairly new for her, and learning new skills, finding her way around, and determining how she wants to live in the world and what works best for her.
Visually, what's the show like for the audience? In that, if we're building until dark, are we feeling that out in the audience? Do we feel that sense of darkness, of almost foreboding, maybe for the bad guys in a sense? Yeah.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
So the last scene is a lot of it is an almost silhouette.
Wow.
And there's just some backlight shining on some of the characters, and hopefully that does add to the suspense.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty exciting, I think.
How important is the trust between the performers? I mean, trust between the performers is always an extremely important thing, but in a show like this, especially when you're moving around in that kind of environment up on stage, do you feel that even more?
Absolutely. I mean, I think, of course, it comes along with the fight choreography, the fight direction, the planning, knowing that nobody's going to just go off script and do whatever they want.
Don't do that.
It's pretty important, just like a dance. We talk about it in terms of dancing too. You don't change choreography in the middle of a number. You don't change fight choreography. But yes, absolutely. We all have a great trust, have been able to build great bonds, and I think put together a pretty great product.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. For people who are going to come to the show, a lot of times people were out to the Covedale. It's a great place to see a show. They're going to see a fun musical. They're going to see a classic, and this is a classic in a totally different way.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the expectation? What would you tell somebody who has never seen this show but has maybe come to the Covedale to see other shows? What should they expect when they come see this one?
This is a great show for folks who love suspense thrillers or mysteries to put together. It's I think this time of year also is kind of brings that out a little bit more.
Yeah, because it's been gray.
Yeah,
it's been
exactly.
There's that sort of
Right.
sense of foreboding almost when you go outside. You guys did a very cool thing this weekend. Before I let you go, I want to talk about the audio description show that you guys did over the weekend. How did that work?
Yes, so there was someone providing audio description for folks in the audience who are unsighted, and they had headsets, I believe, and there was a gentleman who was up in the back booth by our stage manager, and she could hear him whispering throughout the show. So the thing about audio description, I'm certainly no expert in this area, but my understanding of what I've read is, you're not describing things like a door closes because you can hear that.
You can hear that, yeah.
So we're describing things that you can't hear or sense in another way.
Almost like old-fashioned radio play,
Yes.
in a sense. That's really cool, and I think a neat thing to provide it for folks who are
Absolutely,
unsighted who
yes.
came to the show. Really, really cool. Hey, we'll get all the information up on how to get tickets and all that kind of stuff up at local12.com. Ladies, thanks for coming in.
Great.
Thank you
so
for having
much.
us.
To break a leg on the rest of the run.
Thanks.
Thanks for checking out Local 12's YouTube channel. Click the links and hit subscribe so you can be notified anytime we post new stories.